Hey, this is Phoenix Ankaa from the Phoenix Ankaa channel. How's everybody doing? In the news, so much stuff is happening. There are so many unbelievable disasters that are going on all over the world. The world is not prepared. In the news, there are floods such as the Auckland Flood, landslides, sinkholes, possible meteor detonations, and a large number of road closures due to water main breaks, gas leaks, and also even due to collapsing bridges. This is not even counting the erupting volcanoes and earthquakes that are occurring all over the world. The news was flooded with so many events that I had to cut it off eventually because I was having too many stories to report in one time. Today we're going to show the magnitude of the news events that took place within 24 hours and a few news updates. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and also share this video. Be sure to also have yourself some emergency supplies, and make sure that you also keep in contact with your relatives. Let's get into this video. Let's do this. Before we start looking at the world and a few unbelievable disasters that took place in 24 hours, please consider the world is changing. There are many signs that the ground isn't stable. Many of the signs you see today have happened in the past, yet the recent events are more intensified and have significantly increased. It appears that the more we ask questions, the more we are gaslighted. Yet we still have a responsibility to discern what is happening. Let's take a look at the unbelievable disasters that took place in 24 hours time frame and then judge for ourselves if this is normal. Look at this. Now, the majority of these are actually repairs for bridges that have collapsed, gas leaks, water main breaks, unexplained or unconfirmed earthquakes. At the same time, there were sightings of a meteor that had, and people actually heard one actually explode or saw it explode. We've also had trees falling down still in California. And let's take a look at California, for example. The BART was suspended from operating, which is like a subway for the Bay Area. It actually required emergency repairs. A complete street was washed away in San Benito County, California. A road collapsed in Tracy, California. All of this in 24 hours. Gas leak and closures in San Clarita. At USC, they actually had an explosion where the students were, and they had to hurry up and evacuate the vicinity. A woman was trapped inside of her building, because a tree had actually fell on it and had fell on other homes in that particular area. Balboa, San Diego, 35 trees were downed, and an 80-foot tree fell on a lady. And I haven't heard the update on what's going on with her yet. In Mecca, California, 10 residents sheltered due to a gas line rupture. They could not go outside. El Paso, Texas, 1/3 of an apartment building caved in. 3 were injured. This is 24 hours, guys. Within 24 hours. There's stuff that I didn't even get a chance to put on here. Lewiston, Idaho, a whole big water reservoir ruptured. House exploded in North Dakota. Wisconsin, gas leak. Canada, house explosion. Signal issues. They actually had to evacuate 100 people because the trolley signals were going crazy. And by the way, when I actually used Google Maps yesterday, a half an hour trip, it told me it was going to take me about an hour and a half to get to. Right now, the Google Maps is acting kind of odd where I live at. In Massachusetts, a gas leak, water main break in New York, building collapsed in Connecticut, Long Island, 3 people fell in a sinkhole in front of the home. One lady fell into it, somebody went out to help her, and it was nighttime. Then that person fell into the sinkhole, and then another person went out, and then they fell into the sinkhole. So 3 people fell into a sinkhole in Long Island, New York. Expanding flood warning sensor system across New York. So they actually are starting, because New York was so flooded, they're expanding the flooding warning sensor so people will know that there's a flood there. I have a few comments about that, but I'm gonna keep it to myself right now. Unconfirmed earthquake in New Jersey, Atlantic City. A week-long road closure due to construction in Preston County, West Virginia. Water main break in D.C. Flooded broken water main in Pennsylvania. Chicago, Illinois, their red line train actually derailed. Then we have a bridge repairs in Indiana. Water main break in Illinois. Sewer ruptures. Structural problems. Water main break. Water main break. Water main break. Columbia, South Carolina. At Johnson C. Smith University, also in North Carolina. Then I just want to say, with all of this shifting, and look at this, all of this, hearing booms. It was a meteor sighted in this area, and then a lot of people heard the boom from it. Bridge collapsing over down in Florida. Major gas leak over in Ellenton, Florida. Bridge closed over here at Lake Lamar. Bruce Road Bridge closed, is considered unsafe. They actually have emergencies all the way even down in the Dominican Republic. 4-story building actually collapsed. Guys, is this normal? 24 hours, all of this? And it's all related to one thing, the ground. Except for the meteor. Everything is related to the ground. With the train derailments, all these water main breaks, all these gas leaks, you know, this is not just isolated to the United States. There's also other things. You know, the flooding is still going on in a lot of places. I mean, if we look at Auckland right now, the Auckland International Airport was actually flooded in New Zealand. All right, let's look in the UK. What's going on? Vintner, Isle of Wight, UK, land collapsed. London, UK, building partially collapsed, people evacuated. Barking, UK, manhole collapsed. Nottingham, UK, residents heard explosion. Lincolnshire, UK, gas leak. Now over in Ireland, Portadown, Northern Ireland, gas leak, evacuations. Guys, this is happening, stuff is happening everywhere. It's just, I don't understand all the languages to be able to decipher some of the other countries, but if someone is listening to this, being that this is an international channel, I wish you would do a video on what's going on in your area. If not, place something in the comments for me. Even if you have to put it in your native language, I'll go to Google Translate and try to figure out exactly what you're saying, so that way I can spread the information about, you know, what's going on in your area. Now, the European tsunami alert system is being actually installed over there. So guys, just heads up, I don't know if something's going to happen. I do know for the pole shift information that that area is supposed to get very heavily flooded along the coastlines. So I don't know if that's the reason why they're doing it, but just to let you know, I did find that out. Now, there's a few things going on also in Africa. Let's check that out. Now, one thing I found out about Africa, they did have a train derail in Abuja, Nigeria, and Lagos. They actually had a building collapse there as well. There's one more place. In Hod Hashron, Israel, there were 3 buildings that may have collapsed, and there was an evacuation. May have collapsed, that's it. They didn't know whether or not they were going to collapse or not, but they rendered that they were actually unsafe buildings. So they evacuated the people out of there for fear that they were going to collapse on the people. So what is like I said, what does all of this have in common? Let's do some critical thinking here. It's the ground. Something is going on with the ground, and it's not just isolated to one area. Now, there's a few things that I did research, and from now on, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Zeta Talks page, and I'm going to see whether or not anything that has been mentioned here has been mentioned on their website, because they talk about the ground. That's what they talk about, the changes of the earth. Let's check it out. And I have to say all credits to Zeta Talk. You guys have been around for a long time, since 2009. and you have been advising the public. I know at one time they did state that the pole shift was going to happen at a certain time, and it didn't happen then, but if you look at the previous video that I did about the pole shift, you will see that there was a sequence of events and we're actually falling into them. If you haven't checked it out, I made sure multiple languages can be assessed in that particular video. So if you speak a different language, even though you see, the the translation is there for you. And please pass this video around, everyone. Now, it's when I was hovering over the different labels here on the top, and I did find they talk about earthquakes, volcanoes, landslides, sinkholes, gas explosions. Now, I haven't seen this yet. Nuclear leaks, I'm gonna have to research that. Collapses, cranes shaky, at construction sites, water mains, the breakage of them, and the derailments. Everything that I just talked about on this video, looking at Google Earth, all those different articles that I updated and loaded on that thing. And let me tell you, it took a long time. It took hours, because you have to find the information. And luckily, Zetatalk had identified a lot of the articles, but I had to research through Google alerts and all, for the rest of them. But look at this. I'm not going to go into all of this. I feel that everybody has to be responsible also for the information. I will introduce everything I can possibly to you, but there's no way I can cover everything. But I'm going to put this link into the description so that way you can look further into this. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I hope this gave you a broadened insight on the various different unbelievable, and I say unbelievable, disasters that we're having, because there's just so many of them. But there's one thing, there's a trend. There are gas leaks, there are water main breaks, standard things, landslides. Now we have trees falling. I mean, I could just highlight this and just read straight down it. I haven't even covered the earthquakes and volcanoes yet. I'm still going through the other things. We got the sinkholes going, and the derailments. That's really something to be having that happen in so many different places. Once again, I'll say like, share, and subscribe, and we will definitely see you guys on the next video. Ciao.